What's up guys, Keybinds here, and we're back with another keybind video. In today's video, I will not tell you what the best keybinds are like I did in my last keybind video, but today I'll teach you how to make your own keybinds that are the best for you. Like I mentioned earlier, I do have a strict keybind video, so if you're looking for a to-the-point keybind vid, I will have it linked in the description. And now let's get right into the video. Alright, we're back and we got the keyboard cam now. Just need to move this camera a little bit so you can see it better. So basically W is where you're going to be moving forward. So you want to have all your keybinds, make sure that none of them are being taken up by your middle finger. Because your middle finger presses W and you don't want it to press anything else. Your middle finger will always press W. And personally, my keybinds are then Q, F, Shift, and then one of my mouse buttons. So that means I can press every single one of my build binds at the same time. If we just look in this grid island, I can press them all at the exact same time. I'm going up and down. I can press them all at the same time. So that's what I love about my keybinds, and that's why I personally think that they are the best. So that is all great and all, but there's a lot of other different ways that you can set up your keybinds. Like for example, I use my keyboard at 0 degrees. So I just hold it normally, it's flat, it's parallel to my table. But basically, a lot of pros, and you might want to pursue this if you have a small desk or something, they tilt their keyboard so that they can get more space on LAN desks. That's the only reason that you do it. And also, you can use your thumb if you have this on, then you tilt it, then you can use your thumb to press a lot more than just W, because it's a lot harder. I mean, not W, a space bar, because it's a lot harder to press anything when it's flat, to press anything with your thumb. Like personally, one of my friends, he uses V to edit, and so he presses V with his thumb like this. Try and get it to focus real quick. So he presses V with his thumb. That's me pressing V right now. And the only thing I have on V is my trap button, because I think it's easier than T to press. So basically, why he does this is because he wants to have full control of his WASD or WASD. He wants to have full control of it, and I think that's super smart. But I already set up my keybind so I can press all my builds at once, where he cannot press all his builds at once since he likes to have full control of his WASD, while so he can edit, he can shoot, because scroll wheel is what I have on my shotgun, as you can see in the bottom right, and that's personally one of the best keys that you need, and I'll talk about that in a little bit later. So V, this is a great edit, especially if you want to have full WASD movement, so you can fully move around while editing and stuff if you have V as your edit. So that's just one of the best ways of doing that, and that's very optimal. And that's what I always want to talk about, is optimal keybinds and stuff. And so yes, that is one of the best things that you can do. So I would choose, one suggestion I have for you guys is using my keybinds, so you can build everything at one time. Like having your builds on different fingers is always a great idea. And then another idea is using WASD, to always having your fingers on WASD, and then you can edit, you can press B and press C. These are the two, this is B and C that I'm pressing right now. And B is my emote right now. And then C is my AR slot, which is where my phone is right now, but that's usually where I put my AR. So basically those three buttons, V is the easiest to press, so that's why I would put it as your edit, but then C and B are also very easy to press, so I would have that as like your SMG or something. But now getting on to, so for build binds, F, E, because E will be freed if you use V for edit. So let me just show you all the optimal keybinds. So Q, E, F, C, V, and Shift and G probably. Yeah, G. Those are all the optimal. Those are the easiest buttons to press, especially if you have small fingers. Just G is G. Yeah, G is the farthest away that you'll have to press, which is not even that far. You can see this is me with my pointer finger on D, and then I move it to G. It's not that far at all. Even if you have very small hands, it's still a very easy press. And since it's not like completely optimal in my opinion, that's why I use G to is my inventory slot. So if I'm pressing G, that's my inventory slot. So it's not completely optimal, but it's still really easy to press. So all stuff like that, a lot of pros use G as their edit because that's default keybinds too, but it's also because it's not like super bad. Now moving on to things, so I suggest Q, F, your mouse buttons, Shift, C, and V as all things that you can use for builds. Now we go into my settings, and I'll show you some of my binds for my personal binds for building and then for combat. So we go down here, and then this is all the same. I use R for reload. A lot of pros, such as Cypher PK, and I think maybe Nick A30, they use R for their shotgun or their SMG, which I personally disagree with because R is a really great reload key, and I don't even know what their reload key is, to be honest, so I would just keep R as reload. So my use button, like opening chests and picking up stuff, is my thumb mouse button. It's I'll bring my mouse over here. If you look right here, I press this button, and then that's how I pick up stuff, and then this button's my wall button. So I wouldn't really suggest using a thumb button. It's a really great idea because if you want to pick up stuff really quickly, it's probably, besides scroll wheel, which I wouldn't waste on it, it's probably one of the best pickup binds because your thumb is usually always there when you're gripping the mouse. So that's why I personally suggest that. And then going down, harvesting tools tab, also something like G. It's not super optimal, but it's super close, and it's just like really easy to press and stuff. So I would just use tab. Now we go weapon slot 1. This is where you're gonna put like shotguns or your like main weapons basically. And that is what I really suggest because scroll wheel, all you have to do is go up. I explained this a little bit in my last video, but all you have to do is scroll up and it switches right to it. So that's like, I think it's awesome that that's like a way that you can use it so that you can have scroll wheel for a bind. So I really think that's awesome. So going back into settings, we're gonna go down here. The video is getting a little bit long, so I'll wrap this up really quickly. So we going down, 3 is the easiest number button to press. Like Cypher PK, and Cypher PK does not have a single number key because I don't know how he lays out his stuff, but he's really good at laying stuff out like that. And I'll probably make a video on not number binds, but in my opinion, 3, 1, and 4, those are the easiest buttons to press. You never want to have 2 as a bind. Like, I see a lot of people copying Booga's keybinds and like Tfue, Cloaksy, they all have 2 as a bind because that's just what they're used to because they never switch their binds up. But if you're just switching from console, it will save you a lot of grief by just not using 2. Because the easiest way to press 2 is by moving your middle finger up off W, and then it would be really easy to press if you do that, but you never want to take your finger off W. I was telling you about the full WASD movement, but the one thing you need to make sure that you do is that you're not taking your finger off W. And when you see the pros using 2, they use their, let's see if you can see this a little bit more, let me rotate the camera. So they use their ring finger to press it, and they have to wrap around their middle finger to press it. So it's like really gross and it's very unnatural, so I would never suggest using that. Whereas with 3, you don't have to go around at all because that's how your hand is like made, is so that it will go around it when you're holding your keyboard. So 3 is definitely super easy to press. So is 4 because it's right next to 3, but 3 is a little bit closer, so that's why I like 3. And then 1, you just move it up from Q. This is what I usually use for sniper or med, so not that important. And basically, that's it for just the best optimal keybinds. And I'll have a list in the description if you want to see all the keybinds I recommend that you use for optimal spots like shotgun, SMG, etc. So I use 3 for my SMG slot, and I've gotten really good at my muscle memory where I can shotgun and then I press 3 really quickly. And then C is a really great bind. It's just under D, so that's my AR as well. So basically, I'll see you guys in the outro, and I hope you guys enjoyed my quick tips on how to find your best keybinds and which ones are best for you. So yeah, see you guys in the outro.